Good morning. Today is Thursday, June 18th, 2020. So this week's Parsha, the Parsha of Shlach, the famous story of the Meraglim, the spies. So we think we know the story. Moshe sent 12 spies to spy out the land. 10 of them came back with a negative report. 2 of them came back with a positive report. The negative report was, the land is very good, but we're not going to be able to conquer it. The people are too strong. And Yehoshua and Kalev come back with a positive report. No, it's fine. The land is good. Hashem's on our side. It's going to work. Now, according to that understanding of the story, Yehoshua and Kalev had faith. They had trust in God's promise. They had courage and confidence and optimism. And the other 10 did not. The problem with that reading of the story is it's very hard to understand, because the other 10, like Kalev and Yehoshua, they had to have known that God was with them. They also witnessed the exodus from Egypt, the splitting of the Red Sea, Hashem providing victory against Amalek. They saw all these things firsthand, just like Yehoshua and Kalev. How is it possible that these 10 important people, heads of the tribes, did not realize that they would be able to defeat the inhabitants of the land of Israel? So, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs suggests that perhaps that's not what the story is about at all. Perhaps it's not about trust and faith and confidence, and that's indicated in the following. There are 2 words in biblical Hebrew which mean to spy. One is lachpar, and the other is leragel. Leragel is the Hebrew word that gives us the word that we often use, the meraglim, the spies. But what's interesting is, in our parsha, neither word occurs, not even once. The word for spy is not mentioned in our parsha. Rather, another word is used. It's used more than 12 times, latur. And latur means, and it's interesting, in modern Hebrew the word has been revived, and it actually means what it sounds like in Hebrew, latur, to tour. Tayar is a tourist. They were supposed to be tourists, and there is a big difference between a tourist and a spy. And the Malbim explains this very well. The Malbim says, latur, to be a tourist, means you're going to see what's good. You're going to see what's nice. You go on a trip, you're a tourist, you want to see what's beautiful, what's inspiring. You're not going to see what's ugly. You're not going to see what's wrong. You're going to see what's good. Lachpar and leragel are the opposite. The word that we translate as to spy means to go to a place and to search out the weaknesses, to search out what is negative, what is problematic. And the fact that in our parsha only the word latur is used indicates to us that these 12 men were not sent to be spies. They were sent to be tourists. The problem is, 2 of them realized this, the other 10 did not. Now, later on in the Torah, at the end of 40 years in the desert, near the end of Moshe's life, Moshe recalls this story from earlier, 39 years earlier, and there in that narrative in Dvarim, he uses the words lachpar and leragel, because after the fact, it turned out that is what those 10 of the 12 were doing. And we also have that word, leragel, meraglim, in Bereshis. When the brothers of Yosef come to Egypt to buy food, and they come to Yosef not knowing it's their brother, Yosef accuses them of being meraglim. And Yosef explains what that word means. He says clearly in the Torah, you have come to see the weakness of the land. That's what he accuses them of. Of course, it's not true, but that's what he accuses them of. He accuses them of being meraglim to look for the weaknesses of the land. The reason that 10 of the 12 spies came back with a negative report is not because they lack courage or faith. It's because they were answering the wrong question. They thought they had been sent to be spies, to find out what was wrong. And based on their mistaken understanding, they did their job. They come back and they say, listen, we want to be open. Here are some problems. We don't think, if you're asking about the intelligence report, we don't think that you should attack. We don't think that you'll be successful. The problem is they were answering the wrong question because they were told not lachpor or leragel, to be spies and to look for the weaknesses, the problems. They were told latur. Their job, the questions they were asked to answer, were based on what they were told. Go and tour, explore, travel, tell us what's beautiful about it. And the reason for that mission is an idea that I have mentioned to some of you before, based on the writing of the Rav Soloveitchik. Rav Soloveitchik explains it's very simple. Listen, the Jewish people are traveling to a land that was promised to their ancestors, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. But not a single person knew what it looked like. Not a single person had ever seen it. And even Moshe, who had said to them, it's a land flowing with milk and honey, but Moshe had never seen it. So they needed, how are they going to go through the process of fighting battles and traveling and the difficulties when they had no idea of what they were fighting for? So this was an opportunity to bring back a report so that they would not have to just believe what Moshe said, but they would have independent testimony of eyewitnesses. This is a great place. It's going to be wonderful. It's beautiful. Keep up your enthusiasm for this journey. And the truth is, when they returned, that is the first thing that they said. The first thing that they said was, when they came back and gave their report, they said, it's a land flowing with milk and honey, and here are its fruits. They're beautiful. That was the question that they were asked. That was the report they were asked to give. Had they stopped there, nothing bad would have happened. But they continued. So, but what about the problem that they discerned? That the people are very strong and it will be difficult strategically and militarily to be able to take this land? Well, but Hashem had already promised them. Hashem had already promised it was going to work out. The Torah says that God says, this is also in Devarim, but it had been promised before, God says, Ha'olech lifnechem, I am the one who will go before you. Lir oschem baderach asher telchu bo. I will show you the way to go in. I will show you the strategy to be able to conquer. You don't have to worry about that. So that wasn't the reason they went. That wasn't the question they were asked to answer. And because they answered the wrong question, we have the debacle that causes a tremendous tragedy among the Jewish people and causes the Jewish people to have to wander for a total of 40 years, and for every one of that generation to have to die out, besides Kalev and Yehoshua, and not to merit coming into the land of Israel. When I was in yeshiva, I had a Rebbe, Rabbi Moshe Heinemann, a person who is one of the world's foremost experts in halacha and Jewish law, a person from whom I have learned so much, and I continue to learn so much throughout my life from this amazing person. But I remember in class, he used to say very often, if you clearly understand the question correctly, that is 75% of the answer. The story of the Meraglim, the problem of the 10 spies, is that they did not understand the question. My friends, have a great day. I look forward to seeing you all soon in person.